Hello and welcome to today's video. Today I want to do a quick video, well hopefully quick, I've got a few things to show, video about the notebooks that I go to. Now this isn't necessarily a video about the best notebooks or the most affordable or whatever. This is about the notebooks that I reach to for certain things. I'm going to say a little bit about why. So I'm going to start with a bit of a highly commended, if you will. Now most of these notebooks I'm showing today are go-to notebooks for specific purposes. This one is a little bit more like, this is something that I'm excited about. This is the Endless Recorder. So I've done a review of this, and in fact I've done reviews of most of these notebooks, and I'll link to relevant videos down below, so I don't do like writing samples and everything here. You can see videos with writing samples. I'm just going to talk a little bit about them. But this is with the Regalia paper. So Regalia paper is the new paper that Endless are using in their notebooks. They have a couple of different kinds of notebooks, the storyboard and these sort of Endless hardcover notebooks. And the Regalia paper is beautiful. It is smooth, and it's got, it is super fountain pen friendly. Shows up the sheen. It's both fountain pen friendly and fountain pen flattering, and it's just beautiful, and has a couple of different formats and things like that. It's just a really solid notebook. So for something for like, if I'm starting a new project and I need a hardcover notebook for it, this is the kind of thing I'm absolutely going to go to. Good build quality, great paper, big ticks in the right direction. The next kind of thing I want to show is this. This is the Helen McLean B6 leather notebook cover. So this is something I use almost every day. So one thing I do as an opera singer is I write out all my lyrics to the shows that I'm learning. It gives me a really great visual way of learning them, but also just actually writing them out helps me learn them. This is a B6 size, so it's nice and comfortable, fits in bags and all that kind of thing without any issue. And it had a couple of notebooks that sort of came with it, with this paper that is, it's good everyday paper, good quick dryer time on the paper for fountain pen ink, and all these books are primarily to be used with fountain pens in my opinion, but it's got really great nice little notebooks from Helen McLean. I'll show that on the back here. Helen McLean Leather Goods and Stationery. These beautiful leather products and the notebooks that go with it. So in terms of these everyday sort of utility books that I use, that I carry, I like to have them in a leather cover, and this is a really great one. The next thing I want to show is the pocket notebook that I've been turning to the most recently, and then there's this. This is the Midori paper, MD paper. I'm not sure if the camera's going to pick that up. MD paper notebook made in Japan. Line, there's a couple of different versions of it. A little simple pocket notebook size. A little bit sort of it's that passport kind of size, a little bit bigger perhaps, and it's just a really solid size, and has a good amount of pages and all those kinds of things, and really good quality paper. I like the Midori paper. It's smooth, but it has enough sort of texture that you're writing on it, and these come in a pack of 3. They're affordable, and I love the simplicity of them. And following on from that is the A5 versions of these. If I'm doing a project that I don't need a big notebook for, or I am carrying something like another, one of these kinds of, leather covers in an A5 size, or the Lockby field journal, this is the kind of notebook I use. I have here the lined and the grid versions of these notebooks. Once again, same great quality paper, simple design, sturdy, and super affordable. The next notebook is a couple of notebooks in B5 size. I love B5. It's a little bit bigger for the camera this way, but it fits this way. So here I have the Life Stationery Noble Note Ruled. This is, as I said, the ruled version. Lovely ivory paper. I tend to use this I tend to use this size notebook for 2 things. Firstly, for writing. I also write out lyrics, not only just for like the visual use, but like I write them out on repeat, so over and over again until they sort of stick in my head. And I tend to use B5 for that. It's a nice size. I also tend to use notebooks like this for sort of more project-based things. So like if I'm doing a tour, for instance, I might take a notebook like this, and it works as both a journal and for lyrics and everything, and it fits nicely in. So the Noble Note Ruled Life Stationery notebook is one great example of this B5 size that I use. And another is this, a very simple looking spiral bound notebook. This is from Studio Milligram here in Australia. It's paper that is, made for them in a Taiwanese mill, and it's got beautiful smooth paper. It's uncoated, but it's super fountain pen friendly. This particular version is called the Spiral Notebook, and these weren't available for a while, and when I saw they were available again, I bought up a few because I think they're just really, really great quality, utilitarian, simple notebooks that just get the job done. I don't normally like spirals, but I can kind of get away with it, and it folds back on itself, all those kinds of things. It's a good size. It's 200 odd pages, so you get a lot of paper for the money, and it holds together nicely, and it's just a really solid notebook. Great paper, great build, strong, durable, and affordable once again. Now we're heading into my 3 most used notebooks. The first one is what I consider to be like my everyday carry notebook, and that is this. This is the Greenwood Journal. Now, I've been using these for a couple of years. Greenwood have been one of those companies that I've sort of really got behind, because I think firstly, they're based here in Melbourne, but they also have, these notebooks are absolutely amazing. I've used a number of them. This is a simple lined one. There is lined, grid, and blank. You can see they're nice, sort of off-white paper. Nice, like it's got a tight line rule, so you can still got plenty of lines on the page. They're durable. They do age. You can see scuff marks and all that kind of stuff on them. I kind of love that. This is a relatively new one. They do get banged up. They do show their life, and as I said, that's one of the beautiful things about a lot of these products that I like, leather and these sort of faux leather covers, is the fact that they do show their life. It's really lovely. But good quality paper. It's a good build, affordable, made here by a company here in Australia, and just really good, and I love them. And you can get a little embossing on the front, like I got my name Mick on the front there. And yeah, Greenwood. So if you're not familiar with them, look at the little videos I'll post down below, but also check out their website. Now, I'm a big believer in journaling as a form of personal therapy, for stress management and all those kinds of things, and just for finding some peace and some clarity. And the notebook I've used a lot for that over the last few years is this. This is the Dingbats notebook. It's slightly bigger than A5, but once again, really, really great paper quality. A few different sort of line rules and things like that available. And it's just really super nice paper. Have I done I think this is the one I use for a review. So I've done a little writing sample here in the back of this one. You can see everything performs really, really well. I think the colors look really interesting, if a little bit more muted, but there's certainly plenty of sheen and those kinds of things on here as well. It's just a really nice quality, very simple, but really nice notebook. And they're sort of, they're not, they're fake leather, all that kind of stuff. So they're sort of, animal friendly, vegan friendly, all those kinds of things. But they have, as a good quality paper, some nice little designs and lots of different colors. So find something that suits you. It's a notebook I like. It's got a nice feel in the hand. It's got a stability to it, a sturdiness. It's, and when I'm doing my journaling, that's the kind of thing I like. Even though I never go back and read them again, I actually really like the fact that they feel like they're kind of permanent. It's a nice quality in a notebook. So Dingbats notebook here for my sort of everyday long form journaling, if you will. And then lastly, we come to my planning, and I do a couple of different kinds of planning. I have different planners, and I do digital planning and all that kind of stuff. But I still do a version of bullet journaling, and for this I use this notebook. This is the Archer and Olive A5 notebook. The paper quality is beautiful. It's 160 GSM paper. I'll open it up here again to the middle, and it's really a beautiful quality paper. This is dot grid, so it's a 5mm dot, which is perfect for bullet journaling, of course. Great for project spreads and for weekly and monthly planning and all those kinds of things. It gives you the freedom to have lines in either direction, but also sort of more open, free form space. But at 160 GSM, this paper is quite heavy, so you don't get a huge amount of pages to the book in comparison to, say, a Tom or River notebook, for instance, but you do get really beautiful quality paper, and there's so little show through. I've done a review of these, which I'll link to below, so you can see them in action. But I think it's really, I think these make great bullet journals simply because the build quality is lovely. The spines are really good, sort of lay flat. It gives you a nice open space. It's got features like the pen loop and the elastic and the little, the little pocket in the back and all of those kinds of things. And a couple of different, ribbons to find different places where you're up to. You might want one for your dailies and the one for your weekly, or, whatever the case is, it gives you a few options like that. And I said, with beautiful paper quality, I use a mix of fine liners, pencil, and fountain pens for my bullet journaling, and it holds them all really, really well. It doesn't show sheen and things like that as much as some other paper. It is a little bit more absorbent, but it still performs really nicely, and the inks look great. So this was the Archer and Olive A5 notebook that I use for my bullet journaling. I've made a bunch of videos about bullet journaling, different things that I do, simple. I'm very much a minimalist when it comes to my bullet journaling. As an example, I did this example page. This wasn't a real setup, it was just an example of what my weekly setup looks like, with separate columns for study and teaching, and a couple of different things, and then my tasks in my week and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a very simple layout. I do believe that for me, minimalist bullet journaling is the most effective and most time effective, efficient kind of bullet journaling for me. But if I want to add color, if I want to do some extra stuff, this paper can handle it. So yes, Archer and Olive A5 notebook for my bullet journaling. Quick little recap. So that was my notebook for bullet journal. I've got the Dingbats for standard journaling. My Carry notebook for daily note taking is the Greenwood journal. I use the Midori little notebooks there for a range of different sort of projects and different needs and things in different covers, and for the pocket notebook, shopping lists, all those kinds of things. I use a couple of different notebooks here for things like writing out lyrics or having really project-based notebooks. And then of course things like the Regalia notebook is going to be a big mover and shaker, I feel, in the notebook world. And then beautiful leather notebook covers like the Helen McLean notebook cover here. So thank you for watching. I hope you found something here interesting. If you've got any questions about any of these, please ask them below, or drop me an email, or get in touch any other way. If you've got something you'd like me to look at, or if there's a notebook that you think I should be looking at, or if you would like to supply something or sponsor a review, get in touch. I'd love to hear from you. In the meantime, enjoy your notebooks, enjoy writing, and I'll talk to you soon.